All right, Aaron Hood here with Love and Purity Podcast. I've got Mr. Dennis Green, one of your names. I found out that that he goes by many names. A longtime worker in the pro-life movement. I'm here in Virginia, outside of Richmond, Virginia, and I got the opportunity to be with him today in front of the Planned Parenthood, one of the Planned Parenthoods in Richmond, and we were able to show a light, be there. You said it so well. You know, when Christians are out there, babies are saved.
That's right.
And I just think that was such a powerful thing. But I wanted to bring Mr. Dennis on and just share a little bit about your story. How long have you been working with the pro-life movement?
Right. I guess after I became a believer, I understood somewhat that life is sacred and should be protected. But it wasn't until 1991 that I was all in. Involved in pro-life work on the street on a regular basis.
Right.
So since then, we've been...
1991.
That's been pretty much a focus. That along with evangelism, gospel sharing.
Right. Yeah. So you had a truck. I mean, it's kind of been... Your pro-life has been your platform. You've definitely been working a lot in that, but you've also gone to different, just raising awareness against abortion, the difficulties, the issues that arise, the heartbreak and all that. You've told me you've been to NASCAR, you've been to Super Bowl, you've been to different big events, gatherings. I lost count of how many times you've been arrested.
I have too.
So, been arrested a number of times with some other advocates. Some people may have heard of you from your more recent, bigger deal when the federal government came after you'd had been acquitted, or pretty much everything had been cast out from the courts on the state level in Mount Juliet, Tennessee, at was it a Planned Parenthood?
No, it was CARAFEM. It was an independent.
Okay, an independent abortion clinic. And you had been arrested. Those charges have been kind of done with a couple of years later, or a while later. After Roe versus Wade was overturned, Biden was trying to let us know that there was still big resistance, and it wasn't a all-out win. And so you were arrested on prior charges, federal charges, and we're looking at 10 years in prison. And how did that turn out? And obviously you're not in prison, so...
Well, first I'll say, just because I've been arrested a bunch, I'm not a rabble-rouser, troublemaker. It's been for the gospel, and in a godless nation, sometimes people who have a badge might have used that power to try to shut down the gospel proclamation or stand for life. With the Mount Juliet rescue, we actually went up and sat down on the floor in front of a door of an abortion clinic prayerfully and peacefully. The police actually testified in court that we were peaceful and we were fine. There was no issues with that.
Broken, right?
Well, all we broken would only be we weren't moving from in front of the door because babies would die if we moved.
Right.
Ultimately, with President Trump getting in office, he had promised he would acquit us if elected. And sure enough, on like day 3 or 4 of after his inauguration, he did acquit, I think, 22 from around the nation, pro-lifers who had been...
Because you were convicted?
Yeah. I had already been sentenced. I'd already served 6 months of house arrest, and I was beginning another 2 or 3 years of probation.
Wow.
So...
so they gave you a plea bargain. They offered you to...
So basically, if we pled guilty to a lesser charge, we could just walk and forget it. Right. We all refused that.
Right. Because pleading guilty to something you didn't do is just as bad as doing something and denying that you did it. So you were looking at 10 plus years of house arrest, prison for standing in front of people who were trying to abort their babies in the United States of America. And it's so difficult for us to wrap our minds around the level. Even today, the laws, no trespassing, and the public places, and being able to reach out and reach these people who may feel like are so indoctrinated to where this is their only option. And I think that's a big part of what your ministry is just letting them know really what's happening, what they're going into, using different terms, right? It's not just a tissue, it's a baby. It's not operation. It's murder. Yeah, using these words that truth, right? And into a place that is so indoctrinated to hear or to see it in a different light, and then give options, right? It's not just this is what it is, but you're saying, hey, we have these resources here, we can help you with these issues. And you've been doing that for 34 years, pretty much,
Quite a while.
off and on around. You've had your trucks impounded, you've been picked up. And like when I said he was arrested, obviously, I was not saying because of any crime other than standing up for the unborn. In a lot of public places, spent a night in jail, a couple nights in jail, and even turn those into ministry opportunities. Yep. So, a lot of you have probably heard about it was a big thing that Tennessee and all of that, looking at that time, but acquitted and still today, like I said, we were able to go and be there and make these options and just even being there and people seeing us and maybe not turning in or just missing the appointment. You never really could know.
That's right.
How. But you do have some success stories. Why don't you tell us a few stories here lately that have just come up that really encouraged you?
We've had hundreds of success stories over the years. I used to keep a log a while back and just baby saved after baby saved and tell about it. Eventually I stopped doing that. I figured, Jesus will keep the record. I'll find out one day.
Amen.
But just recently, like about 2 weeks ago, we got a picture of a little boy that was born who Lacey, one of my coworkers in Charlottesville, Virginia, had reached out. She changed her mind going to the Planned Parenthood and just had that little baby boy born. But I don't know, I could go on forever with baby saved. People stopping on the road outside the abortion clinics and say, I want you to meet my child. I was coming here, you talk to me, here's my little boy, or here's my little girl, or here's my twins. It's a blessing to see the fruit of your labor.
Yes.
But very often, the girls coming in or change their mind aren't telling us because we're still strangers.
Right.
And then later, they contact us and tell us what had happened.
Right.
So, it's a blessing.
Yeah.
Seeing a lot of the children.
Right. Yeah. So, it would be worth it for one, right? If it was even just one, it would be completely worth it. But you've been able to hear people reaching out to you. And why don't you talk just a little bit about, we know Roe versus Wade has been overturned, but what some people don't know is about the medication, the pills. Can you just give us a little bit about how abortions might actually be on the rise through these medication abortions?
Yes. After Roe v. Wade, it's good that it was overturned.
Yeah.
But now this kicked back to the states. Some states have limited the option, the availability of abortion to the 12 weeks or 6 weeks or what have you. But the pill, most abortions are performed with the abortion pill, 60 to 70%.
Right.
That's been on the rise. So actual hard numbers with the number of babies dying is higher now than it was overturning of Roe v. Wade. So that's kind of the new battlefront. The surgical ones are down because there's less surgical. A lot of clinics are closing or whatever. Here in Virginia, we one of the most large rise in number of abortions. We've had, I think it was like 5,000 more last year than the year previous after Roe v. Wade was overturned.
Right.
People, it's like a tourist stop. People from Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina are driving up to our clinics because we'll kill up. It's like 24, 26 weeks up here in Virginia. And that's surgical. Yeah. That's not counting all the pill abortions.
Right. Yeah. And you were saying that, politically, even there's a lot of shift back and forth in Virginia right now. It seems like things are back and forth, solid Republican and a far left Democrat, and things just kind of are volatile, and it's hard to find a middle of the road candidate. That's just a lot of things are getting polarized. It was something that I wasn't quite aware of, that, abortions are still on the rise, and in Missouri, where I'm from, they're enshrining abortion into the Constitution, because they could do that with just so many signatures.
Yep.
And they put a little amendment in there, and it went through, and a lot of people didn't even know what they were voting on, and it went through, and we're having a real big fight in our state's House and Congress government to try and get that enshrined from our Constitution, because once it's in there, it's a really difficult thing.
Yeah, the same thing's happening to Virginia. if the candidate for governor wins on the Democrat side, that will be there will be a change to our state constitution.
Right.
Also, basically abortion till birth, unlimited, no restrictions.
Right.
And
they throw that transgender stuff in there. In Missouri, it's like children will be able to have a gender change without their parents' permission or knowledge. Like they threw that in there as part of it. So basically, just so much of what Missouri, as far as like a Bible Belt or so, part of it, so much just gone, just through an amendment, and seems like a loophole. But there's a lot of room for prayer in that. But so the name of that ministry, if people, you have a bookstore. Tell us about the bookstore.
Well, we started the bookstore to help fund our ministry. That's Remnant Books, remnantbooks.org. And so we have tens of thousands of books here at my place.
Yeah, I was just looking at the library. It's downstairs. I mean, it's floor to ceiling, bookshelf upon bookshelf. So a great, fantastic way to, if you're looking for books, buying books, buy a book online. Mr. Denny, and it supports his work because it's all about supporting his work, the minister.
That's right.
Not just big part of it's been the pro-life, but just preaching, evangelism, and even some in China. Just share a little bit about your time in China, your family.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe 20 years ago we started going to China. I lose track, but we've had dozens and dozens of teams go over. I think 10 of my children have been to China, I believe. Right now, I've been kicked out, blacklisted for ministry over there. But my son-in-law, my children are still going over, sharing the gospel, distributing gospel literature during the overnight hours in unreached areas, Muslim and Buddhist areas. And that's been real successful. It's getting harder. But that's ongoing also. I'm always looking to build teams. Someone might want to go to China.
Right. So if somebody wanted to get in contact with you, just, ask more questions about your ministry, or maybe just they don't necessarily need a book, but they like what you're doing, they want finance, how would they contact you?
Email would be info@remnantbooks.org. That would be an easy one to remember. I'm on Facebook, Dennis Green, Life and Liberty Ministries.
Okay. Life and Liberty Ministries.
Yep.
And also info@remnantbooks.org. Those are a couple ways to get a hold of Mr. Denny. I've just been really blessed. I've one time prior, I was in Nashville at a Planned Parenthood abortion clinic, and was with 40 Days. We did the walking around, the praying, and it was impactful then. It's impactful now. Just to see how the battle rages against all sound judgment. We were talking a little bit about, there's very few that are, they are becoming more and more hardened. You said, like, there's some that are maybe more open and sensitive to it, but man, there's just becoming more, the providers and those that are coming are just becoming more and more hardened to the truth.
Yeah.
And so it's becoming a more difficult, you've got people, it's just insane that there's just people that are actually pro-abortion that are showing up to just get in the way.
Yeah.
Just stand between someone who cares so much about life that they would try and keep someone from making the same mistake that they probably made and are so guilt-driven to try and justify it. So a real point of prayer for our nation, that this would not be something just passed off to the states, but this would be something that the church would take up, a battle cry, Protestant, especially Catholics, everybody, to stand against this evil, to be there. And so that's kind of been my takeaway here with Mr. Denny, is like, if we're there, babies are saved.
That's right.
If we're there, babies are saved. And so I think that's such an easy thing for us. You don't have to be an eloquent speaker. You don't have to have all the right words. You just have to have the light of Christ in your eyes, and a few resources that are available to give them hope, and just be there. And,
that's right.
And the Lord, the Spirit will do the rest.
That's right. It's got to show up and let Jesus do it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's to be that vessel. So I just want to encourage y'all to connect with Mr. Denny. Again, info@remnantbooks.org. And it's also on Facebook. Give me that one more time.
Dennis Green, Life and Liberty Ministries.
Life and Liberty Ministries. And connect with him. A solid ministry, solid family, known them for at least 25, 30 years. My parents, not necessarily me in particular. But as most of you know, we're on our way back from Israel, getting ready to head back to Missouri, and came through here, and I'm really blessed to be here and to be with him. And the love and purity message is trying to reach the heart so that the heart is actually changed. So where these effects that we're seeing, these are effects of a heart that's been broken, a heart that's been that's hardened, and the gospel, the oil and the wine of the Spirit and the blood of Christ is able to soften up those hearts. And if we can get to those parts, then all of these things that we struggle with on the exterior will fall into a perfect kingdom, like back in the Garden of Eden, and when our heart's right with the Lord. So I'm really encouraged to see the need out there, and that the Lord has people out there, not just us, but Mr. Dennis and many others. And so let's get together. Let's encourage one another, and let's move forward. Let's bring the kingdom of God. So thank you all for listening. Again, reach out to us, and we're calling disciples to a lifestyle of love and purity and joyful expectation for that coming King. And join with us. Make sure you reach out to me, Aaron at loveandpurity.com. If you've got any questions or things that you'd like to hear on the podcast. But we're glad to be here, and I pray that you have a blessed day. Shalom.